You have to get over that fear. I mean, if you're going to let fear hold you back, you're not going to make it far, whether it be a little meetup or buying hundreds of thousands of apartment buildings. You can't let the fear hold you back.
I keep it real and stay flipping keys, no weights. Eating good, I got a lot on my plate, but this is what I wanted, so I can't complain.
The Minority Reports podcast, where we keep it real, estate, and entrepreneurship education for the minority of 3% action takers. Here's your host, Billy the Kid, and co-host, Dan Delgado.
That sounded a little rusty.
Whoa. We take like a month off. This is what you come back with?
Yeah. So, guys, it's been 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. It sounds, we make it sound like a long time. Yeah, it does. It does. That's probably the longest. But anyways, we're back. So those of you who were happy that we weren't back yet, we are back. To all the haters out there now. But yeah, how's your week, man? How's everything going?
It's been pretty
I guess
good,
it's only what's today? Tuesday.
So
how was your last
Wednesday,
week?
Today's Wednesday.
Oh yeah. Well, how was your last week?
Good, man.
Or the last few weeks.
I've got my I think I told you last time I was gonna get started with a performance coach, and so I got that started. It's actually been really awesome so far. And
nice. So how long are you into it?
That's a 6-month deal.
6 months, but you just started a week ago?
Yeah, we had our first call a week ago.
Okay.
So now we're kind of finding the structure of what we're gonna do and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I don't see it just being like a 6-month thing. I definitely,
beyond
especially
that,
with us talking to so many people that we do, coaching is a very common theme that I see. So I definitely would continue doing it. It's been awesome so far. So
that's awesome, man. Nice. Good, busy.
Yeah. Have you bought any houses in the last 2 weeks?
Actually, no, I haven't. Just busy. Actually, we had an eviction this morning. So
how'd that go?
I'm gonna follow up, but it's good, I guess. It's been 3-4 months.
So did you roll up with some goons, or what'd you do?
That's the next step. It's been 3-4 months. You do the math. It's a few grand. We just got the water disconnection. That's another grand. It's fun times.
With COVID and the moratorium and stuff, was it a lot harder to manage an eviction now?
For sure, yeah.
And probably more expensive?
Yeah, and they automatically get a lawyer. So as soon as they walk in, they make it COVID. So that's been pretty tough. But at least now we can actually do evictions, because a month ago, we couldn't. So
what was they were just not paying rent then? Or?
Yeah, they blocked us, our phone number, and just not paying. And the health department was involved too. It was just trashy outside. So it'll be fun seeing how it looks.
It's like these times when I'm glad that I just do.
I know. Yeah, no. And shout out to Colin, because one thing he did say, and this is the perfect example. He's like, how do you fit? And it was somewhere on social media. How do you fix, people not paying, then it's what you do is you buy more doors.
Yeah.
So it's
one of those. That risk.
Yeah. So it's one of those where it's like, well, I mean, it'd be nice to collect rent, but I think
we could probably get a little bit of information on that from our guest today too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so fun times.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Going to Vegas. So that's fun.
Yeah. Are you talking about our trip or? Separate one, another one.
Separate one.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep. I'm gonna be out there. I'm going to a Raiders game, so that should be fun.
Jeez. Always on a beach or on a plane.
And we're gonna talk about planes today too. So that'll be fun.
So you got book of the week.
Yeah,
what do you got?
Book of the week. It is, and I have a few notes here. Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. Earlier, before the episode with our guest, we were talking about social media presence and just branding overall. So the notes that I took from this book, great book. I did the audio version. The main key point was make sure that make your customer the hero of the story. Become a guide, so a trusted and beloved guide that offers them wisdom, tools, and encouragement to help them overcome villains and achieve their heart's desire. That's kind of how he put it, basically. And then this is something that I'm still learning, even where it says, never assume that people understand how your brand can change their life. You have to tell them. So it's easy as telling them. Obviously we know each other. So if within us, we think everybody knows our story, but not true. So And then you'll probably enjoy this one. Pretty websites don't sell things. Words sell things. So tell them to buy. You know,
what are you trying to say?
Because you make websites.
Like pretty websites.
Danny, the pretty website guy. I don't know. All right. And then if we want to engage them, there's 3 answers that they gave us, or they must answer these 3 questions easily. What do you, or we must, what do you offer? How will it make my life better? And what do I need to do to buy it? Again, it's as easy as put in the button, you know, big, and myself, for some reason, orange, the color orange works. So if you look on my website, if it's a buy now button, it's orange. I read it. It must have been something with Amazon or something, but orange is an actual color that makes people want to click. And then I'll leave it with the, whenever you come up with the tagline for your business, basically it's the character plus the problem plus the plan plus the success equals the compelling one-liner when you do a tagline. So, yeah.
Actually, I should read that one because I actually read
I think you would enjoy it.
The psychology, I think, behind marketing.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like that's probably got a lot of that
for
in
sure.
there too.
Yeah.
And it is just kind of fascinating to me, like when you find a product that is just like, you feel like, take my money, I don't care what it costs. I think like that's not very common to find that. And every once in a while I'll find something that like, or something comes along my way that I'm like, oh my God, I don't care what it costs. Like I need that. Yeah. And like, if you can, that's like what Apple does with their phones. Yeah. I mean, there's people, like I know people that literally every freaking phone that comes out, they'll spend $1,200, $1,300 now. I mean, it seems like everyone gets more expensive, but they have absolutely no problem with paying that every single time. And they're just like, you got to create like this cult.
For sure, for sure.
Some companies really got it down. I think Tesla's kind of like that too. Like people that drive Teslas are just...
Well, and look at it, if you start looking at all these brands, it's like for example, Starbucks is an easy one. I mean, I can make a 50-cent coffee at home. I'm just paying $5 for the cup. You know,
I think Starbucks is horrible. I'm happy to drink that.
I'm a Scooters guy, and if you're not in the Midwest, then you probably don't understand. But Scooters is better for me. But anyways, and we were we were just talking too about social media. You know, I would say worst case, you need to post at least once a day, even if it is a story. But you need to post at least once a day and go off of that.
That's pretty much what you do, right?
Yeah. I was saying earlier that I try to stick with at least 4 stories. One post every 2 to 3 days, or for sure every week. And then YouTube, I try to do every week, whether it's a vlog, a song, or a recap of something. Just
do you want to plug your new song too?
Yeah, which one? Oh, the Crawford. Yeah, that's right. Yes. You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Crawford, the song drops November 5th. As of right now, I'm waiting on my distributor to approve it, but November 5th everywhere. So I'm excited for that because he's fighting November 20th. So that'll be exciting. I might do a video.
Dude, what if he walks out to your song?
Dude, that'd be amazing. That would be amazing. And that's kind of, me being the marketing guy that I am. I'm dropping it around that time. So I know a buddy of mine that fights with him. He lives with him during
training camp.
Yeah, training camp. So shout out to Ali Taha, man. If you're watching, follow him. He's doing his thing. I think he just had his first professional fight and he won. So shout out to Ali. But also, one thing I want to do, man, I want to give out the title of my book this time because
it?
Yeah, it's it's finalized. The idea and everything is finalized. I'm getting it edited, but hopefully in November I'll have the actual physical. It's titled "The Power of Being Uncomfortable." So it's straight to the
Billy
point.
The Kid.
There you go.
It's gonna be Billy the Kid, or you're gonna have your full.
It'll be Billy the Kid.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep branding that. Right. So yeah, I'll have more details on that. It is already at billythekid.com, so you can go pre-order. If you do pre-order, I send you the PDF right now. So
the unedited PDF.
Unedited, yeah. So you get to see how it works.
You gotta start signing them and sending them out too, man.
The PDF?
No, not the book. You can't sign a PDF.
No. If you pre-order the book, that's what I'm doing. It'll be signed. Yeah. It'll be signed. And I'm going to DIY it, the first few copies. And then I'll probably do distribution through Amazon and all that, and the Audible. I still need to record that. I'll probably have you do it if I can afford you.
Pretty expensive.
But anyways, great guest today, man. I'm excited. It's been a long time coming. For sure, I would say when we started this podcast,
I've been hounding.
We had him in mind. So
for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I can be very persuasive.
Yeah.
But so
let's bring him in. Let's get it. We're back.
It's a little bit better too.
Did you like that?
It's a little bit better.
I'm getting better, right?
Working the rust out for sure.
Exactly. So
Aaron Impens,
the man, the myth, the legend. We got him.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Finally, you've been chasing him. I've been chasing you. How's it going, man?
No, doing well. Thanks for coming out. Hopefully I can share some good things with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Even behind the scenes, we were talking about crazy stuff already. So, but I always like to start with just taking it way back as a kid. Where are you from? And just where are you from? Let's start with that.
Yeah. So I grew up in Illinois. Is in technically in East Moline, Illinois, but it's part of a bigger whole, which they call the Quad Cities, which is 4 different cities between Illinois and Iowa, and then there's littler cities that surround that as well that you could technically say are part of that as well. I grew up in Illinois. My dad was an entrepreneur my whole young life. My mom worked for John Deere. And for those of you that don't know, in Illinois, John Deere is kind of like, the job to have. That's where their world headquarters are, for that matter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she started as an accountant and did some other things there as well. But like I said, my dad was an entrepreneur as well. Got an older brother and a younger sister. Graduated high school in 2003.
Nice. You just aged yourself there.
Yeah, that's all right. The good news is most people will be listening to this and not watching. The joke is,
there you go. Jokes on there.
Everybody thinks I'm like 45. I'm really only 36. So it's all good.
That's awesome. Okay, so with your dad, what did he do then? You said he was an entrepreneur.
Yeah, he did a lot of different things. One of the first things that I really remember was he had some video rental stores. So he rented out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, rented out VHS tapes. We had, this is kind of a funny story. My dad being in the business, we had a laser disc player. Do y'all know what that is?
Yeah, I remember those. Like, they didn't last very long though.
Yeah.
No, probably not. But they're like record-sized DVDs.
Yeah.
And so we had this laser disc player. But anyways, I thought that was kind of cool. But he was in the rented out VHS tapes, had a couple video rental stores called Video Plus. And did that for a while.
Dang, that sounds kind of nice even now. Like that should be a streaming service. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know how long he did it. I was young.
Yeah.
So I don't remember much of it. But then Blockbuster moved in across the street. Kind of pushed him out.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Damn.
Jokes on them because
I miss
Blockbuster. Nobody likes Blockbuster. First it was Redbox. Now it's let's go on Netflix.
Seriously. Yeah.
So what happened after Blockbuster came in then? Did he pivot to something different?
Yeah. So to keep it real, he ended up just getting a regular job in the short term. Worked at a casino for a while I was young, so I don't remember what all he did, but needed to recover from his loss and then get back to what he wanted to do next. Hard to remember what all he did in the short term there. He had some little things that never really transpired into anything big, and then eventually found his way into real estate and mobile home parks. He even had a semi-trailer storage business. So he rented out semi-trailers to companies like Walmart that I don't know, maybe you go to Walmart or a company like that where you see semi-trailers in their back just sitting there. A lot of times it's just full of stuff that they're storing.
Space.
Yeah, where they need extra room. So you'd rent that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really, that's awesome.
Hands off.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, it was hands off for him, but those trailers don't move very much, but they're deteriorating over time. So you're fixing it. If it starts to leak, you got to fix that, or flat tires because it's sat for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Things like that. But yeah, so he did that for a while, sold that business, and then really got heavy into real estate.
Okay. And if we could take it back around that time, when was it that it hit you that you were going to be an entrepreneur?
I don't know when it hit me that I was going to be an entrepreneur, but if I like replay my childhood, I had a job when I was 12. It was a paper route, but I had to get up at 5:30 every day. Mm-hmm. As a 12-year-old, I look at my 14-year-old getting him. He's not getting up at 5:30 every day. Yeah. Just saying. So I had a paper route when I was 12, and I did that until I was almost 17 years old. And for whatever reason, I always just had the drive to work hard and do things and do them well. I don't know that there was something
like
that
was climax or anything.
Hey, this is what I don't want to do. That's probably later on in life, like when you get to working for the Walmarts of the world or even the railroad, which is a good job. Mm-hmm. And you're like, hang on a minute. Like, I don't want to do this for these people. I've got bigger and better things and goals in mind. So shoot for that.
Was there conversations about money and stuff like that on the table basically?
No, again, to be 100% real, growing up, I didn't realize it, but we didn't have much money. Like my mom had a good job, don't get me wrong, but my dad, being the entrepreneur that he was, didn't always have successful things happening. And again, I didn't realize it at the time, but we didn't have much money, so I didn't really understand it. All I knew is I had to work hard for what I got. Mm-hmm. As a little example, I'm a big hockey guy. I love playing hockey, watching hockey family. I wanted to play growing up. I'm getting off track here, but we had little neighborhoods, different neighborhoods around mine that all had their own little team.
Jeez.
Yeah. Nice. It's like gangs in New York.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we had these little roller hockey teams in different neighborhoods, and they would come to our neighborhood and we'd play each other. We'd go to theirs or whatever. Anyways, I wanted to play in a real league. And if you don't know, hockey is ungodly expensive to play.
Yeah.
My parents were like, we can't afford it.
Yeah.
If you can buy your own gear, we'll pay to sign you up. So I'd buy my own gear, played against sports, here I come, and next thing you know, I was able to play hockey. But yeah, we didn't have much money, and I just somehow was taught and learned that you had to work for what you wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. No, that's awesome. And so let's fast forward a little bit there. So you did the paper route. Did you have like an actual job after that, or?
Yeah, I did a few things. Worked at a skating rink. Go figure, being a hockey guy, I guess. But worked at an ice cream store, and then in high school I worked as a dishwasher in a nursing home. I tell you what, I was the best damn dishwasher they've ever seen. But yeah, and then
it's funny, real quick, since we're in the dishwasher. I was with a buddy yesterday, and he owns rentals, so he's like, "Yeah, we were showing a rental, and we didn't have a dishwasher." So the tenant, the person walking the house was like, "There's no dishwasher," and he said, "Yeah, there is. Put your hands up." And the husband put his hands up. There it is. But go ahead. Sorry.
That's funny. I replay those, and I'll just sidetrack a little bit about that. Is when I was in charge of running that dishwashing line, like it was my goal is like, we're going to get this done so fast that I can sit around for the next hour and a half before my shift is over, because who wants to stand in here for 2 hours?
Yeah.
And I would just ram those dishes through and we would get it done. I know it sounds stupid, but it comes back to, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later, just the drive and wanting to succeed and be the best that you can be at anything and everything that you do.
Was there also like, did you have like efficiency in mind at the same time when you were doing that? Or was it just, I just want to get done just to be done?
Well, it was, probably in my mind, in reality, it was some people would be over here and they'd just poke around. It's like, why are we going so slow? Like, there's no incentive for us to stand here and take forever. There wasn't much incentive for me to go fast, other than I would be done early. Right. But I just want to be the best at everything that I do. And that was in my mind.
I like that. I like that mentality.
Well, speaking of, so how'd you get into real estate from there?
Oh, we jump ahead a lot if you want to get into the real estate.
All right,
let's back up.
Yeah, let's back up.
Kind of leads into it, but the dishwashing job, I did that. But my dad, being in the real estate world, he made some friends with some mortgage brokers and people like that. And I ended up meeting a guy, which was one of my dad's friends at the time, that was into repoing cars and also like property inspections, but not the property inspections you would think of like, hey, my roof is bad or my plumbing is leaking. Mm-hmm. It was more along the lines of the bank has a note that is going bad or they think is going bad, and they call someone and have them go check on the property. Could be a drive-by, could be try to get some pictures, could be knock on the door. Anyways, I got involved with him, not on the car repo side, but the home inspection side. And I was probably 17. I was 18 at the time. Must have just graduated high school. 18, got my own like insurance, like general liability insurance, and got lined up with this company called Safeguard Properties. And they paid like $10 a house. And you drive around, you take a picture of the outside of the house, and report back if you see any like major damage.
Wow.
So I just drive around all day and take pictures of houses, and that was kind of my own little thing. And yeah, that was after the dishwashing world.
That's awesome. You're probably making more money then.
Since I primarily focus on pre-foreclosures, immediately I'm like,
yeah.
Did you like see a way into finding deals, into contacting these people?
No, not at the time.
You didn't even see it? Wow.
Not at the time.
Huge
had no
opportunity
idea.
there, yeah.
No idea. It was...
It'd be a good job now.
I know, I'm like, hiring?
It's really easy to be a part of, too. Just so you know. Yeah, at that time, it didn't even cross my mind, to be honest with you. It was more along the lines of, okay, I'm kind of doing my own thing here. I can control what I'm doing. It was easy. And it somewhat related to like what my dad was doing real estate wise. But yeah, that was the next thing. And then I thought I was going to be a car salesman, got hired on, and quit the day that I was supposed to start.
So what happened? Did that like something scare you off?
No, what happened was I got more accounts for the Safeguard Property stuff. And then I had decided to move to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Because of that job?
No.
Okay, well, how did that transit? Like, what was that about?
That's a funny story as well. So a buddy of mine that I grew up with, his parents were divorced. So he lived in the Quad Cities in Illinois until like 6th grade, maybe 7th grade, something like that. And then his mom moved to Lincoln. His dad stayed in Illinois. So when he'd come back to see his dad, we'd hang out, whatever, kind of kept in contact that way. Never really kept in contact unless he was in town. But he graduated high school in 2003, moved back to Lincoln moved back to Illinois. We picked up his buddies just like we had left in 7th grade or whatever. One weekend, he's like, oh, I'm going to come visit my friends in Nebraska. I'm like, hey, I'll come with. Why not? And it was an amazing weekend. Like I was the new guy and the strange, and everybody liked me, and all the girls thought I was supposedly I had an accent or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, it was a great weekend, ton of fun. He comes back and he's like, I'm moving back. I miss my friends. I miss my mom. I'm like, well, hell, I'm coming with. So I moved to Lincoln.
How old were you at this point?
18.
18, wow.
Yeah. It was October of 2003.
Wow.
Something like that. So,
okay.
Yeah, 18.
And you had accounts here through that job?
Did not, but they're easy to get.
Okay.
So yeah, I came here with the assumption to do that.
Okay.
But I was leaving all of the stuff in Illinois that I had, all of those accounts, to come here and get set up here to do that.
Okay.
But technically, I had no job.
Yeah.
Really.
And so great point to ask this question. What was the mindset behind college and all that?
I was never a college guy.
Yeah.
I didn't like school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. Not that learning isn't for me, because I'm always wanting to learn, but school itself and the structure that it has set up just doesn't suit me. So college wasn't going to be something that I wanted to do.
So at that time, you already knew that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had checked college off.
So when you were in high school, what kind of student were you?
I wasn't a bad student. So through 8th grade, all the way up to freshman year, had never had anything less than an A.
Wow.
Nothing. Freshman year, failed my first semester of English. No joke. My parents were like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know.
Huh.
But the last couple of years of high school, I figured out, okay, how can I get these classes knocked out so where I can leave early?
So it goes back to the dishwasher. I like it.
I was like, maybe I could. They had a program where if you had a job and you took your classes early enough, you could leave early for your job. So I worked all that in. I would end up going for like half a day of my last year and a half of high school. But the last couple of years, man, I would sleep in English class. The teacher would move me to the front because I would sleep in the back, and I would sleep in the front. No joke.
He just doesn't care.
I did not care. She woke me up one day and asked me about whatever we were reading in the book. And she's like, "Can you pick up and read?" I'm like, "You'll have to tell me what page we're on because I don't know."
Yeah.
So school wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't bad. Didn't have bad grades. I still probably got B's and C's or B's, to be honest with you. But it just wasn't for me.
I had like a D in Spanish.
I did. I failed Spanish. I was like,
I used to skip the class.
Yeah, I would skip out. Like, I'll just write an essay.
And they do Spain, like Spanish.
Yeah,
it's
different.
It's different. But
Yeah.
So at that time then, to kind of go along, did you, like, what was your mentality? Just work then and make money basically?
Yeah, it was work hard.
Yeah.
I don't know that there was much of the entrepreneur. It was like, hey, I'm going to be my own business owner. At the time, it was, I'm going to work hard and make this the best life that I can make it.
Yeah.
Whatever that was in at the time.
So then what happened once you moved here then?
I quickly realized that moving here without any family or job and one friend being 18 was a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Crazy decision, thinking back on it. I ended up just getting a job at Walmart. I was on my own. I had utilities and rent to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow we were able to sign a lease in Nebraska, even though we were only 18.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, in Nebraska, you have to be 19 to sign a lease.
Yeah.
So,
which they changed that a few years ago, right? Like it hasn't been too long, I don't think.
It's a crazy time in 03, you know. It was Wild West out here.
I was going to say, maybe in 03 it was 18 in 03. I don't know. But I look back on it now, I'm like, how the hell did we sign that lease?
Yeah.
But, so I just got a job at Walmart in the produce department and was like, all right, let's get this stuff figured out on a path of some sort and keep going from there. So that's what I did.
Yeah. Did you move up?
No. I thought
you were
about
trying to hurry up and see how
trying
fast
to get out, trying to get home.
Put the tomatoes and the lettuce.
I thought about moving up. It was like, because you start hearing about the managers and how they get paid and their incentives and things like that. And it was interesting to me, but no, I never did move up at Walmart. I was in the produce department working mornings, and then if you want to say moved up, I just got a pay increase for working night shift.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like, but that's not moving up.
Yeah. So what was the moment then where you saw, okay, I'm working at Walmart, there's more out there for me? Like, what was that moment?
That was always. One of my lines that I always ask people is if they want to know what a star fruit is, because those are like kind of rare, but it's in the produce department, and they're really good for that matter. If you don't know what it is, give it a try.
I've seen them, but I've always been kind of scared to try.
You gotta try them.
Okay,
really good. Dang it, I don't know where I was going with that story now. One of my lines about the star fruit is like, I know what it is and I've tasted it, and it's like, okay, but who gives a crap? It's like, you know what a star fruit is? That's fine and dandy, but there's bigger and better things. So it was all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
So while you were there, you were just like, man, I can't be doing this.
What's better? What's next?
Yeah.
And I tell you what was next was the railroad was next for me.
Okay.
I ended up getting a job with the railroad. So in Lincoln, the railroad is like what John Deere is in Illinois, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And that was the job you wanted to be at. You make a lot of money, you get great benefits, so on and so forth. I'm like, all right, screw it, I'll apply. Why not? What's it going to hurt? The worst they could say is no. Mm-hmm. And a couple days later, they called me in for an interview, and I ended up landing the job at the railroad.
What'd you do there? Drive or?
Let me tell you about the interview process first. Okay. You go to this, we went to this meeting room, 8 a.m, and there was probably 50, 60 people in this room. Yeah, I'm like, oh, crap. And I'm like, they better be hiring a lot of people. There's a ton of people in here. You spend the first 3 or 4 hours listening to them talk to you about the railroad and how bad it is.
Jeez.
How horrible it is. They tell you that you're going to, you're going to be in 3 feet of snow, and the last car on your train, the knuckle is going to break, and you're going to have to replace the knuckle. But since you don't know it's broken, you have to walk all the way back in the 3 feet of snow, find out that the knuckle's broken, walk all the way back to the front, get the 75-pound knuckle, pick it up, carry it all the way back to your 2-mile-long train, put it on, then back through the snow again, and it's freezing cold outside. And they tell you all these sob stories. You'll never see your family on Christmas and Thanksgiving. Like, they just tell you how horrible it is. And then you go to lunch.
Nobody comes back?
14 people came back.
Wow.
Jeez.
14 people came back, and they said, okay, you guys have made it past the first step. And then we talked about some other things, did some physicals, and some one-on-one interviews, things like that.
It's not a bad approach, though. I mean,
it's not, because if you can't handle that first 4 hours of trash talking the railroad, you're not going to be able to handle the railroad itself.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be a great thing to do with real estate.
yeah,
like
I don't think it's that scary.
No, but I know, but I'm saying like, like the crazy, it's 8 p.m. and when you, especially
you
when you're
walk into
starting
the
out.
hoarder's house and put your foot down and start sinking like it's quicksand or something and never get out.
Seriously.
have you incorporated that in your process?
I don't pitch the fear, but
So were they accurate though with that kind of stuff?
there were some accuracies, but they're definitely over exaggerated. So I'll take that example of the last thing breaking on your train. First off, there's other trains driving by you constantly. You wouldn't believe how much train traffic there is in all reality. So let's say your train breaks in half and you have an emergency, you stop or whatever, and you're like, oh, can't rebuild the brakes. That means the train pulled apart. Why? Well, the next train that comes by, you just, hey guys, can you slow roll this and maybe tell us what's going on? So you'd have a train come by and they'd probably stop and be like, oh yeah, your knuckle broke. And you say, hey, can you kick our knuckle out off of your train? So they take the knuckle off of their train, toss it right by ours, which is broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then they'd shut the valve for the air brakes. Okay. Then they take on their way. I hop off the engine, stand in the 3 feet of snow in one spot. The guy takes the train, pulls it all the way forward now, except for the one car that's detached.
Right.
Gets to me, stop. I get on that train car, ride it all the way back to where the cars are, where the last car is, hop off, fix the knuckle, blah, 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 and then walk up to the front. So still a process, but you're not walking like 6 times. You're not carrying the 75-pound knuckle. It's still cold, but
and especially, I guess, at that time of your life, it was probably, you were probably okay with not being at home. Not being at home, as much because
that's a type of job that's great for a bachelor,
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I was, I was still 18. Maybe I was 19. I don't know. But I was 19. It's 2004. So a job on the railroad where you all of a sudden start making 60, 70 grand a year and you're 19. Yeah. Like, come on, man. So I went from $12 an hour to 60, 70,000 a year.
How long were you there then?
I was on the railroad from 2004 to 2013. Okay. End of 13, 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's not that long ago then.
Yeah.
I mean,
less
than a decade. So
yeah. And to answer your question, I was the conductor and engineer. So you work towards the engineer. You drive the trains, help navigate the trains, whatever, fix them if they break. Things.
And they're saying that now they're gonna. I was just talking to somebody about this too. They're gonna do like auto.
They've been.
And that's what she said. It's my dentist too. Shout out to my dentist. She was telling me that her husband does that.
Yeah.
And that he has to go get an engineer license or something to still be on the train or something. So
it's like a Tesla of trains type thing.
And that's what I told her. I'm like, you would think it would have been sooner already.
Well, they were trying when I was there.
Yeah. So you did the railroad for a few years. What happened next?
Yeah, during the railroad, that's kind of when I was able to start doing some things for my own or on my own. That job allowed me to be able to do that. The schedule was I was usually gone for about a day and a half and home for about 2 to 3. So that 3 days off, I mean, you can do all kinds of things. You don't technically know when those 3 days are going to be, but you got a lot of time to do some things. So that's when I started picking up some of my own stuff. And back to my dad in the real estate world, he got into the mobile home parks and mobile home world as well. And for whatever reason, I thought that was going to be the best point of entry for me. So that's where I started. Was in the.
How did that hit you? Like, what did you just thought of your dad, or?
A little bit. I saw what he was doing. Hear some of the stories that he talks about. And at the time, I mean, yeah, I worked for the railroad, but I didn't really have any money. You know, it's not like, and this is just an excuse that most new people say, but I didn't have any money.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to do at the time. So mobile homes are ridiculously cheap, or can be.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one I bought was $250.
Jesus.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that I just thought, okay, mobile homes, I hear the stories. It's a good point of entry, low cost, easy-ish,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
So you started with buying that. So was that your first property then?
Yeah.
That was a
250.
rental, or like you can flip a mobile home, right?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
can do whatever you want. So the quick story on that first one was I bought it for $250, and it was too old for the park that it was in. So when I bought it, the park's like, hey, you got to move this. It's too old. We want newer stuff in here, so on and so forth. Like, perfect. I don't know how to move a mobile home. So what are we going to do? I just figured it out. I called around, found some companies to move it. We moved it. Cost about $1,000 or $1,500, something like that. Set it all back up. They set it all back up because I certainly didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Then sold it for $6,900 or $7,900, something like that. I don't remember which one it is.
Did you do some work
Yeah,
to it?
No,
or?
just moved
Wow.
Jesus.
it. Just moved it.
So just the area.
I did nothing to it, and it wasn't like it was green and white, old tin siding on the rolled roof, you know. And it wasn't spectacular, but it was super outdated, but really solid.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
yeah.
What was going through your head when you got that check and you were all into it for like what, $1,250?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was. I think just shaving off hundreds off
railroad.
Off of my stack of hundreds is what I was thinking,
Wow.
probably at the time. But in all reality, it was like, okay, this can work. Like I literally just saw this work. Now I need to replicate this as many times as I can and as fast as I can. So that started the mobile home world for me. Started buying some mobile homes. A funny tip that I tell people when we start talking about mobile homes, in Lincoln, they have auctions on Thursday, sheriff's auctions, and you can buy mobile homes for $1. Literally $1. So one of the best ones, I bought it for $1, sold it the next day for $16,000. Like
Wow.
like it works. Like why are we not doing this? So yeah, that was 2007, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth. I kind of got divorced in there and had to sell everything and restart. That was a little bit of a low point, but once you push past that and kind of restarted again with the mobile home stuff and led into the bigger real estate stuff that I'm in now, I guess.
That's cool. I love like seeing how, because I went through a divorce too. And I mean, unless you've been through one, people don't really realize how there's so many different parts of your life that it can ruin.
For sure.
And financially is like one of the biggest. And so it's cool to see that you were basically, you were doing really great at this. You lose it all essentially. Yeah. But then you have the formula to just do it again. So like you talk to these super successful like millionaires and billionaires, and people ask them like, "Oh, if I took your money away, what'd you do?" Like, I'd do it again tomorrow,
Yeah.
And so that's a great like real life example of someone that can do that.
Doesn't make it less scary, but
right.
But that is a fact. That is a fact for sure.
Yeah.
And I tell you, man, when I got divorced, I was literally living in a mobile home that someone let me live in for free for a while with their 1970s old staging furniture. Like it was a purple velvet crush couch. Like I had no bed. It was probably the lowest point in my life ever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what are you going to do? You're going to sit there on your purple couch and just sulk, or are you going to turn it around and push past?
Fuck your couch. No, that's amazing. And so mobile homes, because you still do them today.
Yeah, for sure.
And before we get into, I mean, I guess this is a way to get into more of the real estate stuff. How now you own parks, is that right?
I have one mobile home park.
Yeah.
I would love to buy more. If anybody listening to this has one for sale, let me know.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So what are the pros and cons on that?
I love mobile home parks, and everybody should love mobile home parks. For if you compare them to like single family homes or apartment buildings, on those, you're renting the building and all of the problems that come with it. Well, with a mobile home park, you're renting dirt to people. Like literally, you're renting them a spot of dirt that provides them utility services. So when their water heater goes out or their roof leaks or their air conditioner breaks, that's on them, and I don't have to maintain that stuff. And that's what makes it so attractive to me.
Yeah.
Do you rent any of them out?
So when I bought the park that I own, it came with all of the homes in there, and half of them were trashed out and unoccupied, and we hauled them to landfill. The others that had tenants in them, I gave them to them.
Wow.
I said, you are now the owner. Here you go. Nice. I don't want to die.
I don't want to deal with it.
That's awesome.
That's a really smart move.
Too.
Yeah. No, because they were probably thanking you for it until that first, water heater breaks.
Yeah. I literally gave them all away. They weren't worth much either,
right.
but literally gave them all away. And that was for the simple fact of I don't want to rent the mobile homes. Used to rent the mobile homes, 07 to, through 12, 13, whatever, rented mobile homes. But I wanted out of that. Of that.
That's amazing. And what led you to, and now backing up a little bit, after you did the flip in the mobile homes, because from my understanding is you used to also, or you still own a company that moves them?
Yeah, it's a little mobile
Was
home.
that like the second business that you did?
It stemmed off of the mobile home flipping renting that I had. Yeah, because you get into the world and you just learn it, man. I mean, the first house that we moved, I watched them. Like, how are you doing this? Like, how do you lift these things up? What do you do when you get to the other end? I watched and learned, and excuse me, I was the guy under the houses, jacking them up, putting the tires on, removing the blocks, all that stuff for a while. And found some good guys to work with me, and now we've got a couple big parks around the area that bring in anywhere from 30 to 50 houses a year, and
nice.
We set them all up for them and things like that. So still have the little mobile home transport business. It generates a nice little side hustle income. Pretty much runs itself. It's awesome.
So you kept that since then, and how did you go from so now you're doing that, the mobile homes. What was your first piece of real estate after that? Yeah. Was it a single family or?
It was. And it was kind of at the end of the railroad. So 2013, end of 2013 on the railroad, I'm like, all right, I don't want to sit on this train and just get fat for the rest of my life. It's ungodly boring. It's not what I want to do. I'm going to buy something bigger and better and just jump in with both feet. So went to a bunch of seminars, a lot of seminars about real estate stuff, tried to start learning anything that I possibly could, listen to what people would tell me and how they're doing it. And I put out bandit signs. That was my first marketing that I did when I started. And I would put out 40 bandit signs every week. Every week. Usually be one half of Lincoln one week and the other half the next week. And we just keep flip-flopping. Found a house in a great neighborhood. For the Lincoln people, it was like 45th and Van Dorn area, so it was a great neighborhood. Back in 2013, 14, that house was probably worth 165, 175, and I bought it for 105, and it came off of a bandit sign lead.
Nice.
I'm like, okay, here we go again. Just kind of like my first mobile home. I don't know if you want to say you got lucky, but I was doing the right things to find this.
And that's what I was going to ask you. What was that mindset transition between? Obviously, you went from the railroad to the mobile home that you got, and then from that to what was that mindset? Was it just wanting more at that point? Like, okay, I don't want to work for the railroad for the rest of my life, so this is the next move. Yeah, and I wanted to build long-term wealth for myself and have a business that can help do that. Not necessarily for myself at that time. I had family and kids and so on and so forth, but. It was okay. This is working great. What's the next? What's the next? And I'm always kind of looking for the next. Once you fine tune what you're good at. So I was good at the mobile homes. What's the next? Let's keep it moving. My dad did a little bit of this. I like the idea of this. It's definitely a wealth building proposition. So that's what led me down that road. That's amazing.
Yeah, and again, I say maybe you got lucky, but. I was doing the right things, putting the marketing out,
the work.
Exactly.
Which it all comes back from that newspaper route that you had.
That's that same work ethic that was just transferring to just a different.
And I'm assuming at that point you were still kind of doing your own like fixing, or when did that hit you? Where it's like, okay.
Yeah, I had transitioned out of kind of working on the mobile home stuff, like the maintenance stuff of it, and to be honest with you, I never really did a whole lot of repairs on the properties that I started to buy to fix myself. And for the example, the first one that I ever bought, I bought it, literally did nothing to it, and relisted it, and it sold for $155.
Wow.
I mean, your first flip, if you will, that was a home run. So again, it was like that first mobile home was like, ooh, that's a lot. That worked. This first flip was like, okay, something behind this. So now, how many of these can I do?
Yeah.
And how fast can I do it?
Same mindset. I love it.
so yeah, I never really did any of the work myself. I knew that if I wanted to do more than one or two at a time, you have to hire that stuff out.
So you knew that right away.
Yeah, you're only one person. You can only do so many things.
Yeah.
If you're constantly doing 50 things, you're gonna just be a little bit good at a little bit of thing or a lot of things instead of being really freaking good at one thing.
And what's that one thing now for you?
I would say the one good thing
that you kept after all these businesses that you own.
The one good thing that I'm good at.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'll tell you one thing that I enjoy, which might surprise people as well. I enjoy kind of watching over and managing projects. I'm not heavy into it. I've got some really good guys that, we can show up a house, and if I never showed back up, 8 to 12 weeks later, they would be done, and it would look the same as all of the other ones. But I enjoy doing that. It's a lot of fun. It really is. And yeah, that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah. So more like the manager.
Yeah. But with the option to not be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Love it. Yeah.
And yeah. That's
you want to manage when you want to manage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and have good people around me that if I'm not here, they know what they're doing.
Right.
It's fine. So yeah.
And to transition from that, what are all the businesses that you have now? Because you have your hands busy. Which is amazing.
Yeah. So still have that mobile home transport company, but it's kind of a small thing. Definitely have.
It's a small thing.
We own a bunch of rentals ourselves, so that's kind of our rental portfolio that we keep and grow ourselves. We flip and wholesale. Have a company that flips and wholesales properties. We have a property management company, which kind of stemmed from having all of the rentals. We're also big into private money lending for other investors as well. So that's helped a lot of other people.
So if you could put just a ballpark number, like how many units do you own and I guess what does that your real estate portfolio look like? Yeah.
Okay. So this is a question that everybody asks me, and a lot of people get hung up on the number of how many units you have. At one point in time, we made it to about 150, and that's just what I tell everybody now. I'm pretty sure we have a little more than that, but not a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want people to get hung up on how many units do you have. This is my perspective. So we got about 150. Of that, I would say that 65% of it is single family homes, and the other is small apartment buildings. But small apartment buildings anywhere from a 6 to 40 unit.
So is that kind of like your sweet spot that you found for multifamily that you like to do? Or is it just what you found? Or is there a specific strategy that you have going into that?
Yeah. The business model that I run, we manage, the way that we manage the properties, small multifamilies fit into that better. And not that there's like the 200 unit buildings aren't good, but the rate of return on those can be a lot less. And this is just an excuse.
What worked for you too.
Yeah, this fit into our management style and how we wanted to grow our rental portfolio. So yeah.
And it's crazy because, I've always said it where it's like, okay, let's say your number is 100 units, right? Well,
yeah,
that could, even if it's single family homes, you could look at it that way, or it's an apartment building that has 100 units. Either way, it's doors, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love that you touch on that, because my portfolio consists of single families and duplexes right now.
Yeah.
And when I've run numbers on bigger buildings, I'm like, I can, and when I say bigger buildings, maybe it's an 8-plex, 12-plex. I run the numbers and it's like, okay, I can cash flow that in one single family home or a duplex.
Yeah.
And again, but everybody works different, like you said. So
exactly, and that's really what it comes down to. And what I tell most people is there's no like magic answer or perfect property. It's what do you want? Like, do you want an X% return? Do you want to only flip? Do you want to be an apartment syndicator? What do you want to do? And then based on that, what returns do you want to generate? And go after that. Who cares if you've got 2,000 units or you got 2?
Yeah.
If you're getting the return that you want with 2,
and I was just going to ask you, you said don't get hung up on the number of units. So what is that what you would say would be the answer then? That's where you do get hung up?
But my answer is just focus on what you want. If that requires 2,000 units, you better go get them.
Yeah.
But if it requires 2, then go after that.
Well, that makes sense because I think people typically will think like the more units, the better, the more money you're making. But like you said, the economies of scale might not work for that model depending on what you're trying to do and what return you're trying to get. Yeah. And so, and I think everybody always kind of hears like, it's just as easy to buy a fourplex as it is to buy a single family home. And I think that's just starting to understand that probably is true. I've never bought anything that big, but how do you find that? How do you compare, the ease of buying a mobile home compared to a single family home compared to a 40 unit apartment complex?
They all require some sort of marketing, whether that be you're in the world, like I would say for the mobile home realm, like if you're in and around it all the time, people know you, and that goes to regular real estate as well too, I guess. But they all require regular marketing or some sort. The ease, it just comes from how consistent you are with any of that. So we buy hundreds of single family homes every year, and I would consider it easy. But the marketing that we put out is consistent. And if we wanted to buy that many mobile homes every year, you take the same strategy and put it towards mobile homes, and it'd probably be just as easy. And I would say with an asterisk, you could do that with apartment buildings as well. Put a similar strategy towards it, and it's going to be just as easy because you're putting in the work and doing the marketing to find it.
With that kind of volume of buying that you're doing, what's a ballpark? What do you think you guys spend on marketing every month, let's say?
Every month?
Yeah.
Anywhere from 10 or 20 grand.
Wow.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, I figured I knew it was going to be up there.
Yeah, and that's not even that much. I mean, I know guys spending 100,000 plus a month.
Wow.
Not in this market, but
what's the best one that you choose?
The biggest best return?
Yeah, for a return. I mean, is it the signs, the bandit signs? I mean,
direct mail is the most reliable, and the most steady. But
I've gotten a few from you.
But I'm sure, I'm sure. But where you get the most return is going to be from word of mouth referrals. Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. And I will say, real estate is not a real estate business; it's a relationship business and a relationship and marketing business.
Yeah.
Absolute fact.
And so with all this stuff you got going on, what's like a day, what does a day look like in the life of Aaron? Like, what do you I was going to ask,
so you woke up super early as a kid. Is that still something that you do now?
Yeah, I get up at 6 every day. So I don't know if you consider that super early or not.
To me it is.
Yeah, get up at 6 every day. Just get my day going. It's pretty simple though. I don't do a whole lot at home prior to. I got 3 kids, help get the kids ready and just kind of get ready for the day. I don't necessarily have I don't do yoga or anything like that in the morning, but
well, it's just sound funny him saying it.
Well, now I have the image in my head. Aaron doing yoga.
Yeah. That's literally what happened.
So you don't have
just picture yourself Aaron doing yoga.
A morning routine or anything
right,
like that?
Yeah. I mean, there's some sort of morning routine. Right, everybody gets up and goes to the bathroom. I mean, but it's more just along the lines of getting some breakfast, getting the kids going, kind of trying to enjoy the morning with the kids and my wife before she leaves.
Sounds like
before
a great routine.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that's cool too because you see so many people that have like these religious routines, and they just like they have to do certain things certain ways, and I think for people that are newer, they hyper focus on that, and they're like, okay, I got to get my routine in because if I'm not going to be successful. So it's nice hearing. I think you're probably one of the very few that we've talked to so far that don't have a specific routine every morning. We have talked to some that are very rigid and it works for them. But like you said, if it works for you, then just do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, people do get caught up in just like, oh, I got to do this to be successful. Like, no, you don't. Just kind of see what works for you.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear.
100% agreed.
And so you do the family thing, and then what's next?
A lot of times I'll check on a project if there's something going on, or I kind of want to see if there's a contractor I want to chat with or catch up what's going over there. Otherwise, I end up in here in the office and fire off for what's happening in the day. And usually it's some sort of relationships or discussing how we're growing our private money lending things, or the next steps that we're taking with the property management company. It's a lot of growth things that we try to do. Prior to having more people on the team, I was heavy in the acquisition side. I'm not as heavy in that anymore. So that's freed up some more growth ideas, which we're focusing on right now. So that's what my day looks like at the moment.
Can we talk about the meetup that you started in Lincoln?
Yeah, you bet.
How'd that come about? How long has it been going on? And
it's been going on, I think, since 2015. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. Yeah, it stemmed from, I'm putting all this marketing out and there's other people doing deals. I want to be in front of these people and create relationships with them. Again, real estate is a relationship business. The more people that know you, they're going to talk to you about things. There wasn't anything in Lincoln at the time. There was another guy that had a meetup, like he was going to get one started as well. And I ended up talking to him like, hey, I'm putting this together as well. Like, just letting you know. And found a great venue that we have, and there's been hundreds of people that show up to that meeting every month, and the value that it generated, not only for me and my business, but for the people that go to that business, it's been great. And all it is just, a couple hours worth of networking and 45 minutes of a presenter talking about a topic of usually something real estate or business related.
So what sort of advice would you give to people who are wanting to start like their own type of meetup? Or because I think a lot of people want to, but there's definitely a sense of like, am I popular enough, I guess, type of thing, will people come show up? What if, you've got those insecurities, I guess everybody does, but like, what would you say to someone that wants to start something like that?
Well, first off, you have to get over that fear. I mean, if you're going to let fear hold you back, you're not going to make it far, whether it be a little meetup or buying hundreds of thousands of apartment buildings. You can't let the fear hold you back. When I started it really stemmed from me and a buddy went to Twin Peaks every Friday. They used to have a burger and fry deal there. We'd chat about real estate.
Yeah, they went for the burgers and fries.
I would come
for sure.
I would come to the meeting.
And then next thing you know, there was 2 or 3 people there with us. And then there was 6. And then we had to transition to a different restaurant. There was 14 would show up for lunch every Friday or Wednesday or whatever it was. It's all right, we need to put this together and make this formalized. But it comes back to same with finding a deal and things like that. If you're marketing, if you're putting out your content, if you're telling your story to people, I'm not the greatest at this by any means, but people are going to start to relate to you and going to want to come to that meeting anyways.
Yeah.
I've been to them,
just do it.
They get big.
And you started doing YouTube too.
I did for a while.
Touch a little bit on that.
The goal was to get myself out there more, and to tell more of my story and more.
Which I think
knowledge.
it worked.
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage you to keep popping those videos. I watched probably the whole channel or a few of them for sure. I sat there and watched. So definitely keep that going.
Appreciate it. Again, it's just to get the knowledge out there and help people, and also share your expertise. I mean, what have I got to hide?
Can you along the lines of that, can you speak to, I've noticed, with guys like you that are, probably the bigger, not probably, but definitely the bigger investors in their area, can you speak to the attitude of abundance and teaching and helping people? Because you guys,
you do great at that.
Right. And so how important is that to you?
It's good because what's that saying? Rising tides raise all ships, or whatever that saying is. I don't know exactly, but it comes back to. I feel like I've said this 6 times now already, but it comes back to the relationship. If I help you with something, you're going to remember that, and next thing you know, you're going to come across something that you can't handle, don't want to handle, isn't right for you at the time, or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'll call Aaron about this. And that's going to lead to something down the line. It's important for me in my business and who I want to be and what I want to give off. But it's going to be important to you too, because I was there at one point. I didn't know what I was doing, so if I can help, I can help. There's another investor in town. His name's Josh. He's been in this office, looked directly in our QuickBooks file and explained to him how QuickBooks gets set up and how we record this this was a few years ago, obviously, but like how you classify this and how this is an asset and this is an expense and things like that, because he didn't know.
Yeah.
So we took the time and showed him.
Actually, Aaron was the first guy to show me how to run comps.
There you go.
Yeah.
See?
And so now I still use that. Like I used it this morning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's definitely valuable. And then we've done work together because,
Absolutely.
You've been so helpful to me. So.
Absolutely. Yep.
Awesome.
No, that's amazing.
All right. So
Snakes on a plane.
I don't know why. Quite the segue.
I don't know
why that came to my mind.
So yeah, Billy was reading my mind, and one of the coolest things. I know you're a cool guy anyway, but like,
Appreciate it.
He's the type of guy that owns an airplane. What can you tell us about that?
Oh no, it's nothing super fancy, man. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun. Just got involved in it.
So I was telling Billy before that, I've always thought that you owned the plane because you were using it to like travel to like, I got to go to Des Moines and buy a freaking 100-unit apartment complex today. And, I thought it'd be like a quick thing, but you do it for fun.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Why not? You can use it for that. Like you can hop in hell, this isn't for business, but took my kid to a hockey tournament a couple times.
Really?
Yeah. That's pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
But more so, I'm kind of making light of it, but it is super cool. Like how many people can say, I, own a plane and I can do that type of thing, but it's
and
because
you fly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So he's got his pilot's license.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
But you're able to do those things because you've built your life around what you want.
Exactly.
And so all that hard work from all those years, from we said 12 years old, to now, you're able to do those things. And I think it's something that people like me, I admire that. I'm like, that's awesome because it's on my bucket list to learn how to fly.
Part of our podcast too, Aaron, we'd like to give roses where it's due, while we're all here. So
I'm gonna get you roses, like actual
I
roses
know.
someday.
Can you please? Every episode.
I appreciate it.
No, but that's awesome. And I think, and that's the only, mostly the reason why I mention it, because I kind of want to show people that like, it's not so much about, you definitely don't wing it. Like, what you want and you're working backwards. Like you're almost, what's the word? You're backwards engineering it.
Yeah.
So like when you started, I mean, I guess you kind of did wing it a little bit, but you still had an idea of where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
How do you set like goals? Is that something that you also focus on too? And like, what's coming up next? I mean, when someone like you is doing so much, where do you go from here?
Yeah. So I'll touch on all of those things. First off, the hard work part. I try to build my life around the flexibility. That's what I want to have is the flexibility, but don't get me wrong. There's still hard work involved. And, years ago, you didn't have the flexibility because you were putting in the real hard work then. You can't just start a business and be like, oh, well, I'm going to work 4 hours a week and sit on the beach for the rest of the time. It's unrealistic. It takes really hard work. And I still work hard. My goal now is to be able to work hard with the option to not. So we talked a little bit about this outside of the podcast, but I love coming to work. I like managing the projects to a degree. I like being a part of the decisions that get made and the visions and the growth and things like that. But I want to have the option to not do that. And we're slowly getting to that point. What's next is more growth. We've set some goals. And we do try to work backwards from that. We've got some history now that says, okay, if you're doing this, it should produce this, and we can work back off of those and then hopefully scale those as well. Our plan is to bring on some more acquisition people and kind of grow our flipping and wholesaling to other areas. One of the bigger things that we're growing out as well is some outside investor opportunities, whether it be in the private money lending. We're looking to expand to all of the deed trust states in the nation, which is like 36 of them. So looking to be lending in 36 states. And there will be outside investor opportunities there. And, kind of our purpose, if you will, is to try to provide people with an opportunity they may not have even known they had.
And the tools.
Yeah. And whether that be helping you figure out how to evict someone, I know you know how to do that, or or you've got some money on the side that you want to invest and you want to invest it with private money lending or into apartments or something like that, we can help provide that opportunity. And that's where it's going and what we're looking to do more of as we move down the line.
Just out of curiosity, and this kind of just came out of nowhere, but where do you see, I don't know if you're into crypto at all, or if you've, because I know I see a lot of like bigger investors are really kind of getting into it. How do you see crypto and real estate kind of just merging or working at all?
That is a question that I don't know that I have the answer for. I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't know. No,
because the only reason I asked is because I saw a deal. I forgot what it was called, but they're doing like a pilot program in Detroit, basically where you can buy. An investor goes and buys a house, and then they basically distribute, or they have available coins in cryptocurrency. So it's almost like shares in the house. And then so like if I spent $80,000 to buy this house, I'll sell the coins for this house and I'll make double the money the very next day. These things are selling out in hours. And someone like you, who I feel like you're really open to almost kill my mic there. You're really open to finding new sources of revenue.
Like the growth.
I didn't know if maybe you had looked into that type of thing. And I said that the only reason I know about that is because I have a buddy that's really into crypto and I'm really into real estate.
Yeah.
So we'll talk, every few weeks, have a beer or something like that. And then it always comes into one of those things. And then he's like, oh, we'll check this out. And so
interesting. No,
I'll have to give you more information on that.
Let's do it.
It's pretty cool.
I'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Take a look at it. Yeah. I want to touch on one other thing because you talked about my eyes being open to other opportunities. I would 100% agree with that. But at the same time, especially if you're starting out, find something and focus on it. Stick to your lane. Part of the story that we didn't touch on, and I could have shared a debacle that I had flipping $1 million house that I lost tons of money on.
Oh, is that the one that?
Yeah.
It was in Omaha.
You shared that one. Yeah.
We lost 60,
talk about it. Hey, why not?
Yeah. I got really good at flipping houses, little single families, 1,000 square foot houses, And in 2019, found what I thought was an amazing deal on a house in Omaha, Nebraska. And I was able to pick it up for $650,000. I thought I was going to sell it for $1.25 million and put $300,000 into it. I'm like, man, I'm going to be rolling in it. And to make a long story short, 7,000 square feet takes a lot longer than 1,000 square feet to remodel.
Material.
And it costs way more. Ended up losing like $67,000 on it. And I quickly realized there is like, I've got a lane that I am good at. I'm going to stick to my lane. I'm just going to drive down it. I'm going to drive down as fast as I can and get as good as I can.
But do you think that was important though, to still learn and kind of not, I don't want to say humble you, but like also reinforce like, well, I'm good at this. Let me stick to this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And you can get so caught up in, I don't want this to sound like I was knocking your comment here, but you can get so caught up in chasing the shiny object. It's like, ooh, well, I could build this Amazon store, or I could start this Walmart store, or I can buy houses with no money down, or whatever the next fancy thing is that someone is throwing out there. And really what you need to do is find your lane and drive down it.
Love it. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And I think everybody has that, because obviously the business teaches you, obviously look at your growth, right?
Yeah.
But you start going in the wrong lane and you could, thank God it was just pennies to the dollar for you.
Wow. It definitely wasn't that. It was real money.
That was jet fuel for
real money.
There you go. But I hate to leave. It's been awesome. But before we get out of here, we always ask 3 questions to all our guests. And the first one that I want to ask you is some wisdom, basically. If you look back at your younger self now and you had to give that kid or teen some advice, what would it be?
Start sooner. Don't be scared. If I've always had the drive, didn't necessarily realize it when I was younger, but you look back now and I've always had drive and the willingness to put in the work. So start. Don't let the fear hold you back.
Love it.
Yeah,
love it.
Sure.
And if there's a 3-step formula to success, what are they?
Ooh, 3-step formula to success. I don't know. I'll say this, and it comes back to what I just said. Be willing to put in the work. Create the relationships. And if you're creating a business, marketing is the biggest driver. So if you're putting in the work, creating the relationships, and driving leads to your business, I mean, you're going to be successful.
Love it. And the last one, if you were to write a book, what would be the title and the idea of the book?
I don't know. That's a good one. I'd have to somehow like tie in the trailer park world into this now. Like, I don't know. What is it going to be?
Would it be about the business or
trailers to Teslas or something?
Whoa, okay. Coming soon.
Available on pre-order.
Love it.
That'd be fun. I don't know. It's a good question.
Have you ever thought about writing a book?
No, but I've thought about writing a book. I've never thought about what a title would be, but the book would be more about, what I've done, a little bit of my story, and then how I could help as well.
Yeah. Love it. Yep.
So
I'm going to think about the title though.
I expect an answer.
So a two-part question, I guess. One, where can people find out more about you? And then two, anyone listening out there that has anything that they can bring a value to you? Like, what is something that someone can bring to you right now that you could use?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm not the greatest on there, but definitely on there. I like to share some content. It's just Aaron Impens, AARON.
I don't think I follow you on Instagram now that I think about it. So I'm gonna do that after the podcast.
Shame on
you.
I know.
Not doing his homework.
You're gonna miss my story in my lunch or something, Yeah. No, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook for sure. I do have a YouTube channel as well. Again, it's at Aaron Impens. Check out some stuff that's on there. Remind me.
And then what can someone bring of value to you right now?
I just want to create some more relationships. I want to be able to build relationships with people that are interested in business. You don't necessarily need to bring me anything other than some conversation. I love talking about business and building business.
You're hiring too, right?
I am hiring, bringing on some acquisition people. I guess if you got anybody that may fit the role of wanting to acquire and disposition properties, it involves some building rapport with sellers and looking at properties, things like that. Anybody that's not scared to get told no, because that's going to happen for sure. But yeah, you can bring that.
I think that job opportunity is awesome for anyone that is like pretty new, kind of looking to see what's going on and join a really well-established team. So and
be a part of the whole, like that's, we want to grow this to bigger and better things. It's not going to just be acquisition. We're going to be, like I said, lending in multiple states and buying properties in multiple states. It's
awesome.
Yeah, amazing. Love it.
Thanks, man. This is awesome. I really appreciate you.
That was fun. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us here. And everybody, make sure you follow him on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And then make sure you guys follow us at that Minority Report Podcast on Instagram, and then subscribe to our channel, the Minority Report Podcast. And let's get it, baby. Vámonos.
My hand to please don't segregate. Dressed in a suit, I can't relate. Minority Report, can't ignore being rich from poor and your credit score. My hand to please don't segregate. Dressed in a suit, I can't relate. Minority Report, can't ignore being rich from poor.